Hey friends, welcome back. So we've been getting a lot of requests for more high protein meals. And so in today's video, we're gonna be making 3 different recipes that each dish up over 30 grams of protein per serving. And this is just gonna be a small little sample of a brand new high protein collection that we're gonna be launching in our mobile app. So every single day for the next 30 days, we're gonna release a brand new high protein recipe that dishes up over 30 grams of protein per serving. And if you're a new user to our app, just to make sure that you're not missing out on all the deliciousness for a limited time, we are extending our free trial period to 30 days. So be sure to scan this QR code right here to snatch up the promo or check out the link in the description box below. Now, having worked as a dietitian, I feel obligated just to say, you don't necessarily need 30 grams of protein per meal, but it's just helpful sometimes to have some high protein recipes in your arsenal. So let's get started. For the first recipe, we're gonna make a creamy Alfredo-style pasta. The protein-rich ingredients in this recipe are tofu, cashews, soy milk, beans, and nutritional yeast. Traditionally, Alfredo sauce is made with butter, cream, and Parmesan cheese, but we're gonna be making our sauce creamy the plant-powered way. So first up, grab some cashews, add them to a bowl, and just pour over plenty of boiling water. We're now gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes to soften up. And for the next part, we just need some firm tofu. No need to press this beforehand, we're just gonna add it straight to our blender. Then we're gonna add in the drained soaked cashews and a bunch of soy milk. Now, did you know that soy milk has the same amount of protein per cup as dairy milk? This offers up 8 grams of protein per cup. If you were to compare this to something like almond milk, that only offers up 1 gram of protein per cup. So this is 8 times more. And considering that we're using 3 cups of it in total, it really starts to add up protein-wise, and so that's why we prefer using soy milk. Okay, next we're gonna add some nutritional yeast. This makes the sauce not only cheesy, but it's also a good source of protein. Just a heads up, I'm using nutritional yeast flakes, not the powdered kind. If you've got the powdered kind, it's a bit more dense, so consider adding less. You can always add more to taste later. We're gonna wrap this up now with some bouillon for saltiness, some cornstarch to thicken the sauce, and lastly, some dried oregano. Then we're gonna pop the lid onto it and blend it up until it's smooth. And that's it. Just let this sit while we pop our fettuccine noodles into a hot bath. Meanwhile, we're gonna fry up a shallot, or you could use an onion. Let this get golden before you crush in some garlic. Cook that for another minute or 2. And then for a final protein punch, we're gonna add in some butter beans. Cooking this for another few minutes before we introduce the sauce. You're gonna see that the sauce is very runny at first. That's okay. You're gonna wanna cook it for about 5 minutes, stirring throughout, and you'll see it starts to thicken in that time with thanks to the cornstarch. Then we can add the fettuccine and give it a toss to coat the pasta in the luscious sauce. When you're ready to serve it, top it with some vegan Parmesan and my personal favorite, some toasted seasoned breadcrumbs for a lovely crunch. The recipe for both the parm and the seasoned breadcrumbs are on our website. I'll link both of those for you below. Then just season with some black pepper, garnish with basil, and your high protein pasta is ready to dig into. It offers nearly 32 grams of protein per serving, and so this dish is just like as filling as it is creamy and delicious. For this next recipe, we're making a flavor-packed Gochujang tempeh bowl. The star protein players in this recipe are tempeh and edamame. So tempeh is a fermented soy product. It's originally from Indonesia. It has this firm texture, kind of a nutty flavor, and it's incredibly high in protein. So we're gonna take this block of tempeh, cut it up into little cubes, transfer them over to a baking tray, and coat them generously in some oil. Tempeh tends to soak up quite a bit of oil, so you do need to be a bit generous with the oil on this one. It'll make them nice and crispy. Then we're gonna pop this into an oven that's been preheated at 390 Fahrenheit or 200 Celsius to bake until they're golden. Just be sure to give it a stir once halfway. All right, so while those tempeh cubes are baking, we are gonna make a flavor bomb of a sauce. So first we'll crush some garlic into a bowl and then add some gochujang chili paste. This is a Korean fermented chili paste. It's got like sweet, savory, spicy notes, and you can pick this up at your local Asian supermarket. Then we'll add in some soy sauce, some brown sugar, rice vinegar, and lastly, some toasted sesame oil. And give it a good mix and set it aside. Now we can get some rice cooking, and while that's happening, we're gonna whip up the dressing for our salad. In a bowl, we're gonna combine some rice vinegar, a bit more soy sauce, and Asian sesame paste, though some golden tahini works too. Even though we're adding just a little bit, it also adds some protein. Then we'll add a bit more brown sugar and some toasted sesame oil, give it a mix and set it aside. Oops. Next, into a large bowl, we're gonna add our high protein cooked shelled edamame, along with some sliced cucumber, some shredded cabbage, and sliced green onion. When the tempeh comes out of the oven, we're gonna pour just over half of the gochujang sauce over it, reserve the rest for later, and give it all a stir so the tempeh pieces are well coated, and then you can pop this back into the oven for another 8 to 10 minutes. When it's time to serve, we can then pour the dressing over our veggies and give everything a good toss. Now to serve this up, I always think it's fun to pack some rice into a bowl and then flip it out onto your serving dish. Doesn't that look adorable? Then we can serve some of the saucy, sticky tempeh alongside it, some of the high protein salad next to that, drizzle over some of that reserved sauce, garnish it, and voila. This recipe packs 34 grams of protein per serving, and it tastes incredible. For the next recipe, we're making a classic, the doner kebab, but we're gonna veganize it with one of the highest plant-based protein sources in existence, seitan. It's so high, in fact, that this dish offers up 45 grams of protein per sandwich. So the protein stars in this recipe are seitan, of course, and some soy yogurt. Now you can buy seitan. It can come as a crumble, in a block, sometimes it comes in jars, but today we're gonna be making it ourselves because I think you're gonna come to see just how easy it is to make and how versatile it can be. You can tear it so it looks like little chicken nuggets. You can cut it into strips or pulse it in a food processor to create a ground beef texture. It's perfect for all kinds of meat replacements. Now, if you're making it yourself at home, the base ingredient you'll need is Vital Wheat gluten. You can find this at health food stores or online. This flour is 75 to 80% protein because it's essentially just concentrated gluten. And I know a lot of people can be afraid of the word gluten sometimes, but did you know gluten is just the protein that's found in wheat? And so what we're trying to do with this recipe is lean into gluten's tendency to create these really strong fibrous networks, because that's what's gonna give us this chewy and very fibrous meat-like product. Now, if you don't have access to Vital Wheat gluten, you can still make seitan using regular bread flour. The steps are a bit different. It involves washing the flour in water, and that can take a bit longer to make. But if you want to try that method instead, I'm going to leave a recipe link for you below. For now, enough talking, let's make some seitan. So first, we're going to grab a jar, crumble in a veggie bouillon cube, pour over some hot water and add a bit of soy sauce for flavor, and a splash of oil, which will make the seitan more tender and moist. If you want an extra smoky, meaty flavor, you can add just a little dash of liquid smoke, but this is 100% optional. Some people even find the taste of this to be too prominent, so trust me when I say you can definitely leave this out. Now give it all a good stir and set it aside. Now to a large bowl, we're gonna add in the Vital Wheat gluten and some chickpea flour. This just makes the seitan more tender and easier to work with. And now we can add the flavor makers, starting with some onion powder, some garlic powder, some chicken spice mix. We do have a recipe for this on our website in case you can't buy some. I'll link it for you below. And then finally, some paprika powder. Then just give it all a good mix. Now we can add the wet ingredients to the dry, give it a stir, and start kneading. We're gonna wanna knead this for about 4 to 5 minutes to develop the gluten network, and you're gonna notice it's gonna go from being soft to being pretty firm over that time. When we're done with that, we're gonna place a steamer basket over a pot of boiling water, place the seitan in the middle of the basket, and then cover it and let this steam and cook for about 30 minutes. Then we're gonna remove it from the heat and let it cool down completely before using it as a meat replacement. So this you can actually make ahead of time. Put it in the fridge, it'll last for a few days, or you can even pop it into the freezer, and that way you've got a high protein addition that you can add to any meal when you need it. But for now, let's make some doners using it. We're gonna very thinly slice the block that we've made into as thin as strips as we possibly can. It's so good already, so cool. And then we're gonna heat some oil in a pan, add the seitan to it and some more chicken spice mix, and then cook it until it's golden to your liking. Next, what makes doners so incredible are the sauces. I'm gonna show you how to make 3 sauces, but really you only need 2 of them, so take your pick. First up is a garlicky sauce with soy yogurt, tahini, crushed garlic, and salt. That's it, easy peasy. The second one is a spicy one. I'm not making this a traditional way, I'm making it the lazy way. So we're gonna add some ketchup to a bowl, along with some harissa paste and some pomegranate syrup, but you could use agave syrup instead. Whew. This one is spicy. Add less harissa if you're not a fan of heat. Whew. And lastly, my favorite sauce, a herby one. To a mini food processor, we're gonna add some mayo, fresh mint and dill, a bit of lemon juice, some optional agave syrup, and salt. Then just blitz it all up. You don't need a small food processor for this. If you want, you could just mince the herbs and mix everything together in a bowl. Now to wrap this all up, we're gonna grab some Turkish pita bread and toast it. You can do that however you'd like. I like to cut it into quarters, hydrate it with a little bit of water, and then grill it. Once it's toasted, we can start assembling. We're gonna split each bread open and spread the herby sauce on one side of it, the hot sauce on the other side, and then pile on a load of fresh veggies. We're gonna layer the spiced, meaty seitan strips on top and then drizzle it generously with the garlic sauce. And then you definitely have to serve it with some pepperoncini peppers on the side. And now you can stuff your face with it. 45 grams of protein per sandwich. That's pretty awesome. Have to have this with it. So there you have it, 3 delicious recipes with over 30 grams of protein per serving. And if you are hungry for even more, be sure to check out our app where every day for the next 30 days, we're releasing a new high protein recipe as well. And that's just in addition to our regular recipe upload schedule. If you're a new user, if you haven't tried out our app before, be sure to take advantage of this limited time 30-day free trial period. There's a QR code you can scan right here. I'll also leave a link for you in the description box below. And that's also, by the way, where you can find the link to our high protein article if you want to geek out and learn more about your protein needs on a plant-based lifestyle. But thanks so much for hanging with me today, friends. I really appreciate it. Pickup Limes signing off, and we'll see you in the next video. How to get, the protein needs met on a high protein diet. Damn it, damn it. And pour over plenty of boiling water, with thanks to the cornstarch. You can't skip the seasoned, You can't skip the seasoned breadcrumbs. You can't skip the, oh my God. Oh, that is clogged. I knew it. Okay, the product, it's originally from Indonesia. And it's originally from Indonesia. Why can't I say Indonesia? My husband's from Indonesia, I can't even say it. Yeah. That didn't do anything. That just wrapped around it like a little. Seitan sounds. Oh, I even just said Seitan. Seitan.
I don't
sounds like
really
Satan.
any difference.
And then you can just. Ah. Ooh, that probably didn't look very good. Also is a good source of protein. Adding some nutritional yeast